Greetings everyone, Dwyrin here, once again asking the question, would I like Starbound? This game is closest to Terraria. It is a sandbox game, if you are familiar with that, or perhaps Minecraft. Just think about Minecraft as a bit of a 2D side-scroller, then you'll have a fairly good idea as to what this game is. Now, as someone who is not normally into games like Terraria or Minecraft, this was a very, very interesting question for me. Would I enjoy something that is completely unlike the type of game that I normally enjoy? So the game begins off as most games do, especially those with RPG elements, where you decide what your character is going to look like. The lovely character creation screen, which we're all accustomed to. It has the usual choices here. You've got your sex, male or female. You've got 6 different races here, and as far as I can tell, none of the races have benefits? I don't know, I could be wrong about this completely. I'm fairly certain the races don't really matter what you choose. They're all just aesthetic, whatever you want your character to look like. And if you're as indecisive as I am, then there's a happy random button that you can keep smashing until you find something that doesn't look too terrible to you, and just roll with that if you don't want to customize every single little thing for yourself. Character created, you start off on your ship, and the first thing you're going to see is a new quest screen. This is a sandbox game, but they're going to try to hold your hand and show you how to play it. There's a little bit of a tutorial in here in which you'll walk through how to do things in the world that you suddenly find yourself in, which I thought was really, really good. Because for someone like me, again, who is not used to games of this sort, who doesn't really play Minecraft or Terraria, I was rather unfamiliar with all the different things that I might be able to do in this game. And so this little questing system that showed me, alright, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go and do this. To get used to the game was really, really helpful. And when I say that they walk you through things, I really mean it. Like the first quest, for example, is just to go and get things out of your ship's inventory and put them into yours. That's pretty much the first thing they give you to do. And the minute you're done with that, then they give you a next quest to go off and do something else. So they're trying to ensure that anyone, no matter how new they are to this game, will be able to pick it up and be at ease and be able to play it. I thought that was nice. So right, there you are learning the controls, but what can you do with the controls? What can you control? Well, the first thing you can do is warp on down to the planet below you and start roaming around to your heart's content. This is, after all, a bit of a sandbox game. So great, you're on the planet, you can roam around, swing your sword like a crazy person if you want, but what are you doing? Well, like Terraria and like Minecraft, this is a game of crafting things. You can get materials from the world around you, in this case, let's say a tree, that you can knock down with whatever tools you have at your disposal, as we're seeing here. Either, let's say, the trees for wood, or maybe going underground and collecting some vines in a similar fashion, again with whatever tools you simply have at your disposal. And then once they're knocked down, you simply walk over to them and automatically pick them up and put them in your inventory. Even the very rocks themselves, the stone at your feet for example, as we're seeing here, can all be picked up, gathered, and used to create something later on down the road, depending on what recipes you have and what you have available to actually create things with. Right, so you know the controls, you're now collecting materials, but what can you actually do with them? Well, it starts off fairly simple, and in fact, it's one of your first quests. Get materials and make a crafting table. The reason for that is because the crafting table allows you, much like in other games, to continue crafting more and more things. And along the line, depending on what you craft in the crafting table, that then goes and is then used to craft other things, and so on and so forth. Quick example of one of the things you'll probably be crafting immediately are better tools, because the one that you have at your disposal in the beginning of the game is extremely slow. So one of the first things that I created for myself was the stone pickaxe, as you saw here, which allows me to mine materials much, much faster than the default tool they give you. You can't really see much of a comparison here because I have no doubt cut it out of the video. But if you remember when I was cutting down the tree, I was pretty much having access to just like one tiny little block that I was able to knock down. Here you can see the range of the pickaxe is much increased. I am pretty much cutting out quite a bit of a little swath of area with this one little upgraded little axe that I've got in my hands now, which makes gathering materials, which is a very, very key component in this game, don't forget, a much easier experience. And I'm sure as you keep getting better and better tools, then the ease of which you can keep getting materials no doubt continues to greatly increase. So that's it, right? All you're doing is just getting materials to craft better materials so you can keep getting materials faster and faster and faster. That's all there is to the game, right? That's Starbound. Not quite. You see, you can also build yourself weapons. Here we see I'm just randomly firing off a bow that I just built for the first time, and just seeing where the arrows go, how I control where the flight of the arrows go, getting used to that kind of thing. Because everything in this game really can be attacked, or sometimes will even try to attack you. There's a lot of different enemies in this game that you have to be careful of. And some of them are more... some of them are harder to kill than others. For example, one of the quests has you doing something really, really awful to yourself, sending out a distress signal. And what answers that distress signal? Well, it looks like a giant UFO. That definitely shoots people at you. And yeah, I didn't know they were aggressive to me at first, so we're just gonna stare at them until you realize they're trying to kill you, and these people are also trying to kill you. So that's happy. A few bugs in that. The AI, as you saw, they kind of shoot and kill each other as well as you, but oh well, who cares? So yeah, one reason why you may want to, in fact, arm yourself quite well is because if you don't, you may find yourself under attack by things that are going to try to kill you, and be pretty successful at it if your weaponry sucks. Now, I have to say, I had quite a lot of fun with this. I didn't expect this from this game at all. I just thought I by this point, thought I knew what Starbound was about. I mean, I saw the little critters that were running around. I saw how some of them liked me, some of them didn't. I had to be careful. I was exploring the ground. I was getting different materials. And I was starting to make stuff. Even here, I have a different weapon that I had previously. So I thought I was doing pretty well and had a fairly good understanding about this. And then this thing shows up. So suddenly, clearly, I have absolutely no idea what else this game has. I mean, it has UFOs that will try to shoot you, beam people down who will try and kill you, and does destroy the ground to try to get at you. And even here, once you get it low enough, it then shoots out flying saucers that also keep trying to kill you. So, I was surprised. I was very surprised, and pleasantly so, because I was having actually a lot of fun trying to kill this thing. I mean, look at what it's firing at me. It's firing tanks and flying saucers and just things with explodey things, and yeah, it was actually enjoyable. This was actually quite fun. The one downside I had with it is the AI wasn't exactly the most intelligent thing in the world. I quickly realized that I could bug it out on the house that I was hiding in, and just keep sort of jump launching arrows at it, and as you can see, its health just goes down and down and down. But even then, I thought that was funny. That was funny enough that I still enjoyed the fight. Because I'm supposed to have armor here and better weapons, and I have none of that. So I was rather pleased that I found a way to just bug and kill the thing. But alright, if you're liking what you've seen so far of this game, you're probably thinking to yourself that you're a little bit annoyed that I went ahead and spoiled everything, because surely that was the highlight of the game, right? That was everything. Well, you'd be wrong, actually. Funny story. No, you'd be wrong. You see, this game is not called Landbound. This is called Starbound. And you begin off in a ship for a very, very important reason. For example, Right now I have access to very low-tech materials, so I'm able to put in a bunch of coal, don't ask me how that makes sense, to fuel my ship. Alright, great. What's the point of fueling your ship, you might ask? Well, simple. You sit down in the captain's chair, and you realize very, very quickly that there's a lot more to this game than you might let on. For example, you can go to another planet that's inside, the solar system that you're currently in. I mean, not only is the planet that you were on fairly large, and you can dig down and go over and explore what's there, you can then hop in your ship if it has fuel and goes to another planet to find out what weird things are going to be on that one. And if you think they're all going to be fairly similar, again, you'd be very, very wrong. Check out this one. Here I am exploring my first moon, and you can see the ice that's there, right? That's not decoration. Look at the bottom of the screen. You see that temperature bar? You see how it's falling really, really fast? Well, guess what happens if you freeze? Let's find out, shall we? It's falling. There it goes. Everything's turning white, and my health is disappearing. You see how fast I took damage? This is obviously not a place that I want to visit to right now. It's not healthy for me because I freeze very, very quickly. And if I freeze to death, well then obviously you die. And for those of you who are wondering, if you die, then you start losing money, which is also important. You kind of need it to craft. Great, so that raises the question, if the first place that you visited was not friendly to you, well then how many other places are there that you can visit? Look at this navigation screen. And while I'm scrolling, I want you to pay special attention to the X and Y coordinates. Do you notice how slowly they're moving? This is just part of the world, apparently, or not the world, the universe, that exists which you can travel to. Every one of these stars, as far as I know, has a planet there, and a lot of these planets are able to be visited. Yup, every last one of these stars. I think this is a game that you can never get 100% completion in, as far as I'm aware. It's not possible, don't even try it. Because it seems like there's just way too much in this game that you'll ever be able to visit. Not gonna happen. It's just not. And as you can see here, some of these aren't actually frozen wastelands. Some of them you'll find are arid, some of them you'll find you can't land on. I guess they're gas giants or whatever. Some of them are forests. I imagine that's much like the first planet I was on, so that's probably the best one to visit. And as far as I can tell, as long as you have fuel, you can go wherever. Now, I think I also read somewhere that you can also get coordinates to planets that other people have found. So if someone has found like something really, really cool on a planet, like your friend or whatever, I guess you can go to that coordinate too. Again, assuming you've got the fuel, and explore that for yourself and, share your findings with each other. There's a multiplayer aspect to this as well. So I guess you and your friend can just roam about the universe exploring crap. I mean, the replay value, or I guess not even replay, just the continuation value of this game went up miles beyond what I was expecting from this game. And really, really quickly, you realize why this game isn't just, land-bound. It's Starbound for a reason. Because there are so many stars out there, and there's no way you're bound to explore them all. But if you like games like this, then you'll definitely have fun trying. And that seems like a lot of fun. Alright, so one of the last things I want to show, because I know I'm going to get comments about this if I don't, I mentioned this is kind of like Minecraft and Terraria. But, those kind of games you can kind of build things, and I haven't shown any of that yet. So, just want to show really quickly, you can actually build things. The materials that you are digging up, most of them are able to be placed again, and you can place them however you want. In your workbench, there's obviously ways to go ahead and make ways to, deck your place out, give it stairs, windows, different walls besides just stone, things like that. I'll leave people who are much, much better at designing things to show you what all you can do in those videos. I'm sure they're out there and online by now. Suffice it to say, I just wanted to show that you can actually take your things and build something with them. Like right now here, I built myself a nice little, I don't know, stone structure that I'm nicely freezing to death in because I forgot that I don't have any more campfires. So that was fun. Had to break my way out before I died. One other thing that I liked about the world is that you never ever really know what's going to be on it. Like, I was looking at this moon, or whatever it is I'm on right now, and I came across this weird structure while I was just out gathering materials. I had no idea what it is. It's obviously a pre-made structure of some sort that has very unfriendly looking robots guarding it. So I decided to set down a campfire so I don't freeze to death, arm myself with what I think is going to be a bow and arrow, and decide to see if they're friendly, which clearly they weren't. And that's interesting. There's NPCs in structures that you can, I guess, just sort of lay siege to and claim for yourself. I mean, you can see on the top there's a treasure chest. There's a reason to assault this place and kill those inside. Unfortunately, the AI does need a lot of work, but it bears mentioning that this game is only in beta right now. I'm sure they'll get a lot more intelligent before the game is, completely officially released. And when it does, they'll make the game a lot more enjoyable. So you can definitely look forward to that. But right now, yeah, there are a lot of ways to kind of cheat around the AI and just kill them with whatever weapons you simply have on hand. And when you do, congratulations, you've taken their structure for your own. So you can chill there with a nice little fire and warm yourself up. You can probably plop down in bed too if you were in need of HP. And have a nice little base for yourself while you explore whatever planet or moon or, I don't know, asteroid field or whatever that you happen to find yourself on. So that's kind of cool. So that's the game. Now the only question is, what is my verdict? Well, as I've mentioned repeatedly, this is not exactly the kind of game that I'm typically interested in. So it should be no surprise that it had trouble holding my interest when I was on the first planet. That was partially my fault. I did not realize there was more to the game. When I found out that you could actually go to other planets and each planet seemed to be unique from the one before it, that there's random things just all over the place on these different planets, I kind of began feeling like I wanted to keep playing, to keep exploring these different areas that exist in the game. That I actually had fun at that point. I mean, I enjoyed the combat, and that I kept wanting to explore more of the game. I think I definitely have to recommend it. The only downside to it, I think right now, multiplayer aspect, I kind of don't like that you have to set up your own server for it. But again, it's in beta, so how can you actually take off for that? I don't know. I'm not sure. I just didn't quite like how multiplayer was set up. But again, it's beta. It might get more streamlined in the future. Who knows? There were a few quirks with it. The AI, I should mention again, is really easy to outwit. But then again, that's probably to be expected, and I'm sure it can probably be improved a little bit later on, because again, it is beta after all. If it a little bit more intelligent AI, then I would feel a little bit more compelled to actually have to, get better gear and weaponry and whatnot to really take on some of the things that I was finding. And there are other worlds out there with greater threat levels, with enemies that are probably going to do a lot more damage than I expect. So that's good too. That could be another reason to keep gearing yourself up. But ultimately, my final verdict, I think I have to give this game a solid beta out of 10. Because let's face it, it is a beta. how can you score a game definitively when it's not officially out yet? From everything that I've seen so far, my first impressions look very, very positive. And if you're into this type of game, definitely go grab it. If you're not, but you think maybe from this review you might be, why not give it a shot? Why not give it a shot? It looks pretty solid, and I hope you guys enjoy it.